Welcome to WebStylePress. We have looked into how can we create CSS only radio buttons and checkboxes. Then we have looked into how can we create CSS and JavaScript based radio buttons and checkboxes. Then we learned how can we create radio buttons and checkboxes where we have separate input and label tags, where input is not inside a label. This video is even more special. In this we will learn about plus CSS selector and tilda CSS selector. We will create iOS styled radio buttons and checkboxes by using only CSS, no JavaScript involved whatsoever. Let me give you few quick tips before that. That is, tilda CSS selector is used to select all elements next to an element, and plus CSS selector is used to select only first next element to an element. Even if input radio or checkbox is not inside a label, you can still use for attribute in label and use relevant inputs ID to toggle that input when you click at label. For example, I have got this input. It's got type checkbox, and then it's got a name box, and then it's got ID my box, my checkbox, and here we have got label with some text. Label has got for attribute, and for attribute we will use this ID here. And see, these are separate now. Label is here and input is here. Input is outside of label, and this is the, and if I click at this label, real input gets checked or toggled by clicking at this label. That is because of this for attribute that takes the ID for the input. So there are so many ways to do a thing. Moving on, I have this HTML and linked is a CSS file with it and no JavaScript file. This is Bootstrap, by the way, Bootstrap for basic styling, Twitter Bootstrap, and this is my custom.css file. We will write our styles in this file, and no jQuery, no JavaScript. We have got a container, and we have got this raw and two columns here for radio buttons, and for checkboxes we have got this area, one column. And this is the, I will quickly create two groups of radio buttons and a few checkboxes. Then we will give them iOS style and toggle them by using CSS, only CSS. This is the radio group 1. Why this is group? Because these have got same name, radio 1, radio 1, radio 1, radio 1, name radio 1. So this same name makes this a group, and its type is radio, and this one is checked. We have got label, and inside label we have got input and span. Span has got the text. This is our real input, so label here. And then we have got our second radio group, name radio 2. Here name is different for these radio buttons, type radio, and all right, again label, and inside label we have got input and one span with the text. And for checkboxes, these are our checkboxes. So again label, inside label we have got input and the text, but here name is check 1, check 2. Names are different here for checkboxes, and type is same, type is checkbox. This is the output. These are two groups of radio buttons, and these are checkboxes. So you see the input is inside the label, so clicking at the label will check uncheck the real input. Inspect, and let's say this is label. Label has got an input inside it. I'll click at label and the input radio button or checkbox will toggle automatically by clicking at this label. No JavaScript involved. So that checking unchecking is already being done for the radio buttons and checkboxes. We have to apply styles to this. Our regular styles for H2, and for label it's displayed block, font size is bigger, font weight is bold, for prominent typography, and for cursor is pointer, so that if I point towards the label the cursor should change, and its position is relative. Label's position is relative because we need relative position. We'll use absolute positions inside elements that will be inside that label, and margin bottom. Now we will design our iOS styles inputs. This is for regular styles here. So we have got the label. Inside label we have got input. Besides input we have got span tag, and for spans before element we will do something. Again, label input plus span after. We will need before and after, one for track and one for rounded little circle for iOS button, and we are applying them at span. This plus represents that span is next to input. You can use tilde here, but I will recommend plus. Plus is better. Plus will select one next one element. Tilde will select all the elements down the line. If there will be more spans, all will be selected inside label, but we need one span next to input inside label, so we are using plus. Plus is better. And note, there are no radios or checkboxes. This input can be radio, this input can be checkbox. It will work for both. So here we will use our styles. This is before, this is track, so position will be absolute, and then content will be empty, and then right will be 0, and then top will be 4 pixel, width will be 60 pixels, and height will be half, 30 pixels, and then border radius will be 20 pixels enough, and then background color should be grayish. Okay, so similarly save, and this is the track for the iOS styled button. These kind of similar styles will be used here, but here we will use right 2 pixels, and then from top 6 pixels, width 26 pixels height, and border radius here will be 50% because it is rounded, and its background color let's use white. Save, and alright, this is the iOS styled button, but it is at the right side. This circle should be at the left side. For that we will use transform, translate x-axis minus 30 px. Save, refresh, and now it is better. So I had used this checked here, and then for this radio group checked here. That is why these two are checked from the start. So if I click at here, you can see this label, and inside label we have got span, and for span we have got this before, and after. Right, you can adjust things from the inspector as well. Okay, so now regular state is done. We have to create now checked state. Okay, so this was after and this was before. Checked state. Label input. Now if input is checked, input is being checked and unchecked. So if input is checked, then we have got span next to that input. Then its color before color will be, that is the track color will be green. For CCA5E, that is green. Use green color for the track, and then this after was that rounded circle, and it's got transform properties. So let's transform that to normal, to 0. Okay, so checked, refresh. Now this is being toggled. You can see this design is being toggled, and this actual radio is being toggled, and this is second group that is being toggled independently, all by using CSS. And these are the checkboxes, those are being toggled. No JavaScript, no extra classes are being used, no toggling, any kind of toggling is happening. So these were checked. We can remove these. If you want any input to be checked by default, you will use this checked attribute here, and that will be checked. And if I use it here, save, refresh, and it is here now. So now for this smooth animation, we have to add something here for a regular state, not for checked state. This regular state, we will use some transition, and the transition is transition for all, for anything that moves or is doing something. Use transition for that. For how much time? 0.3 second. For 0.3 second is sufficient. And use effect of ease in out here at this and at this. So this was regular state. And this is checked change. Okay, refresh. Now these will be, now there will be transition, smooth transition. Let's hide original inputs. Label input, display none. And now we have got our clean design. Those inputs, real inputs and checkboxes and radio buttons have been hidden. Those are in the background, those are working. Like this thing, those are there, but you won't see these. We have our own custom design, so we don't need those radio buttons and checkboxes. So this is working now. So you can use tilde here or you can use plus, but I will advise plus. Plus is to select next element to this input. Select next element, that is span, from input. And this is how you can create iOS styled animated radio buttons and checkboxes by using only CSS. Alright, thanks for watching this video. Like, share and comment and subscribe, and stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video.